In every single Mario Kart game, there are always 3 tracks that are a recurring theme occurring in every single Mario Kart game. Bowser's Castle is one of them, Rainbow Road's another one, but what's the third one? Well, it's Mario's Circuit. That's right, in every single Mario Kart game there's always been at least one track that has the word circuit in its name. And that's what we're going to focus on today because, we've looked at Bowser's Castle and we've looked at Rainbow Road. So now it's time to look at the third staple, and that's Mario Circuit. Now, because there are so many circuit tracks in the franchise, instead of doing a top 10, I want to extend it by 5, so it's going to be a top 15. Now, for the rules. Any track that has the word circuit or raceway in its track name will count. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a Mario Circuit track. It could be a Luigi Circuit, it could be Peach Circuit, it could be Toad Circuit, and so on and so forth. As long as the track name has the word circuit or raceway in it, it's going to count. And of course, retro tracks and DLC tracks are going to count as well. So if you're happy with that, let's get going at number 15. Starting off simple, SNES Mario Circuit 4 from Super Mario Kart is the 15th best circuit track in the franchise. This track is pretty complicated and it has lots of twists and turns. Overall, I do kind of like this track. And I do think that this track does do a lot right, but it isn't really the most interesting track out there, since this track looks exactly like Mario Circuit 1, 2 and 3, so by the time you reach Mario Circuit 4, you're probably getting tired of seeing SNES Mario Circuit. N64 Mario Raceway. Yeah, for some reason Nintendo named all of their circuit tracks in Mario Kart 64 Raceway tracks. So instead of N64 Mario Circuit, it's N64 Mario Raceway. Why they did that? Who knows? But anyway, this track is pretty bland and there's nothing too exciting to see. But this track does have a very good atmosphere which I do like. It's a very bright, happy and sunny atmosphere with upbeat music and it just makes you smile. But apart from that, nothing out of the ordinary really happens. Another SNES Mario Circuit track, and also the first retro track on this list. Mario Kart 7's version of SNES Mario Circuit 2 is pretty good for one reason, and one reason alone. And that is that one jump near the end of the track that Nintendo turned into a gliding jump in the remake. That's it. Everything else about this track is just standard SNES Mario Circuit territory. This is the first track in the worst Mario Kart in the franchise. GBA Peach Circuit is a good little starter track for this game, and it has a pretty nice view of Princess Peach's castle as well. I was having a hard time choosing between the original or the Mario Kart DS remakes as they are fairly similar, but I'm going to go for the original because why not? This track has some pretty cool music and quite a bit of obstacles, including chain chomps, Goombas and piranha plants, as well as these little bumps on the road, which makes this track pretty interesting. It's a little fun and neat track, but it's far from being the best circuit track in the franchise. I cannot stress enough how underrated SNES Mario Circuit is. The first Mario Kart track to ever exist, and yes, it's not the most exciting track out there, but that's simply because it's not supposed to be exciting. It's meant to be a simple track, the track that started it all, so that's why I like this track, because if it wasn't for SNES Mario Circuit 1, Mario Kart as a whole might not exist. This is a pretty cool track, and a fairly complex track with quite a bit going on. This is the only Mario Circuit track not to be in the Flower Cup. Rather, it's in the Star Cup, because with the exception of Super Mario Kart, of course, every single Mario Circuit track in its respective game is in the Flower Cup. So that reason alone makes this version of Mario Circuit fairly unique, but not unique enough to put it any higher than number 9, honestly. Now let's go back to Mario Kart Super Circuit, but it's retro this time. The Mario Kart 8 remake of GBA Mario Circuit is pretty epic. The original track was very boring and quite frankly forgettable, but the remake is so epic. I really love how the big U-turn in this track is now elevated into an anti-gravity section, and it's raised up by Ultra Hand, which is a toy that Nintendo used to make back in the 1960s. Also, the music has a massive overhaul, and it's barely recognisable from the original music. What an improvement this track is, and from this point onwards is where all the circuit tracks become really good. Now this, Nintendo, is how you do a remake. This is a pretty good Mario circuit track. This track is in the shape of a Mobius strip, so it has some pretty cool anti-gravity sections in it. At one point you are completely upside down because you can see Peach's castle in the background, but it's tilted upside down. The music's so cool, it's kind of like a jazzy swing to the Mario Kart Stadium track theme song in the Mushroom Club, which is a pretty cool Easter egg. The original N64 Royal Raceway or the remake? I had a hard time deciding between whether I should put the original or the remake in number 6. But I'm going to go for the remake due to the better graphics and better music. This track just looks beautiful in HD. Also, the massive jump near the end has been turned into a gliding jump, which is so appropriate due to Mario Kart 8's gliding jump abilities. Unfortunately, you can't visit Princess Peach's castle in the remake like you could in the original because it's gated off, but still, this track is really good and it's a very well done remake of an already really good track. Technically this track counts because it has the word circuit in its title. So the DLC track Wii U Hyrule Circuit is inspired of the Legend of Zelda franchise, and all of the coins have been turned into rubies and the piranha plants have been turned into Dekubabas. Also, in the anti-gravity section there are 3 anti-gravity switches, and if you bump into all 3 of them, a shortcut will be opened up. This is such a cool track, and the Legend of Zelda fans will love this track so much. Nintendo clearly put a lot of thought into this track, and it shows. Let's talk about the forgotten Wii Daisy circuit. Honestly, no one really talks about this track that much. In fact, I think this is the first time I've ever mentioned this track on my channel. Anyway, when I first played Mario Kart Wii, I didn't really think too much about this track. I just thought it was a very generic circuit track, and it didn't even make it to the top 10 Mario Kart Wii track list all the way back in 2019. But over the last 2 years, this track has grown on me, and now I actually kind of like this track. For starters, the music, it's so relaxing. I can listen to this theme all day and all night long, it's so good. I also love the Daisy and Luigi statues in this track as well. There's one of them as adults and one of them as babies. This track also has a kind of orangey colour to it, which is really cool. Since this track is named after Daisy, who's considered quite a pointless character, people don't really talk about this track very much. Although I am really beginning to like this track a lot more over the years, and I feel like that is a very underrated track and it should be talked about a lot more. Of course, a track shaped like Yoshi's gonna make the top 3. Yoshi's Circuit from Mario Kart Double Dash is an excellent track. Who would have thought that a track shaped like a Yoshi would make a good track? I don't know how Nintendo came up with that idea, but it's a pretty awesome idea. It makes such an excellent track, and there are plenty of twists and turns in this track, which forces you to drift around them, and there's also plenty of piranha plants to avoid as well. It's such an awesome track, but there are 2 tracks that are better. This track is epic, simply for one reason, and that's the rain. I think that this and 3DS Koopa City are the only 2 tracks in the entire franchise that rains, which is pretty epic. And because I actually love the rain in real life, when it's raining outside, I love putting on my coat on and walking in the rain. So this track has a massive advantage in me liking the track. I'm going with the Mario Kart DS remake over the original because A, the rain effect is a lot better and a lot more realistic due to Nintendo DS being a lot more powerful than the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. And B, the track looks a lot more appealing since it's a 3D model rather than 2D sprites. So yeah, this track is amazing, but there's one circuit track that's even better. Yeah, 3DS Mario Circuit is definitely the best circuit track in the franchise. Why though, you might ask? Well, one reason and one reason alone. And that is in most of the circuit tracks in the franchise, you'll see Princess Peach's castle in the background, but you cannot drive inside of it or even reach it because it's either gated off or it's put out of bounds or in an unreachable zone. But in 3DS Mario Circuit, not only do we get to visit Princess Peach's castle, we can also drive on the inside of it, which is epic. And the reason alone makes it so unique, so epic, and so awesome. I can't believe it took Nintendo this long to finally make a track where you can drive inside Princess Peach's castle. Quite frankly, we need a dedicated track where you just drive around the inside of Peach's castle. It's epic and it's definitely the best circuit track in the franchise. That's the video. Wow, that's a lot of circuit tracks. Anyway, thank you all for watching as always, and be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Goodbye.